Good morning, everybody. My name is Patrick Hynes. I am Senior Manager for Research Communities at Stanford's Institute for Human-Centered AI, HAI. HAI's mission is to ensure a future where humanity benefits from AI and that those benefits are broadly shared. And I think that really succinctly explains why we're all here today. Because we all want to see a world in which humanity benefits from AI and that those benefits are broadly shared. So I have a couple quick remarks, but first I want to take you way back in time to 2023. In just 2 years, in 24 months, the summit has effectively doubled in size, and our discussions have evolved from imagining and envisioning AI-enriched classrooms to, again, just flash forward 2 years. We're in a place now where we're grappling with issues like the ethical dilemmas that accompany an AI classroom. And in just 2 years, we have moved from imagining a world in which AI is in the classroom to one in which, in the US, half of all K through 12 and undergraduate students are reporting that they use AI chatbots at least once a week or more. This velocity of change is pretty staggering. And that accelerated pace of change is precisely why summits like this one are incredibly valuable. Because listening to and learning from one another is critical if we're going to ensure that the benefits of AI are broadly shared. So over the course of the day, we'll explore how AI is being integrated across educational settings and examine how AI can serve as an ally for all learners, regardless of their background and resources. And if we want to work together to create educational environments that are, 1, enriched by AI, and 2, that prioritize the development of every learner, then yes, of course we need to move quickly, but we also need to listen and to learn from our colleagues across academia, industry, government, and civil society. And we're fortunate to have all of those interests represented in this room today. So I'm hopeful that today's conversations will ignite new partnerships, stimulate new directions in research, and drive us towards actionable solutions that we can implement in classrooms and communities across the globe. So thank you all for being here, and I'm really, really looking forward to the discussions today and from learning from everyone here in the room. And with that, I'll pass it over to Isabelle.
So I'm Isabelle Howe, and I have the great pleasure of working for the Stanford Accelerator for Learning, which is an initiative at the Graduate School of Education, seeking to bridge research and practice and accelerate a more effective and more joyful future of learning for all students. This event has been a great collaboration between my team and Stanford HAI now for the past 3 years. So today, what to expect? We have a lot of great sessions, some in large groups and then smaller group formats after lunch. We'll also have what we did last year, which came back from very, very high demand, our student posters, which have been setting up outside already this morning, as well as a new concept that we are bringing you today, the AI Tinkery, which is a space at the Graduate School of Education where we are inviting scholars and educators to come and tinker with AI tools. And now today, during lunchtime, we'll have our AI Tinkery pop-up. So come and check it out. So today we have 3 questions, 2 themes, and 1 goal. The 3 big questions of the day are, number 1, what is the future of learning that we all aspire to see? 2 is what really makes us uniquely human, and we'll start there actually with the first session on this topic. And how do we center humanity in our learning ecosystems as well as AI technology? And then 3, what is the role of research? How can research best serve this bright future of learning that we are hoping to see? The 2 themes are very connected. The first one is what I call the research imperative. We need to understand what works for whom, in what context. I think this is urgent. I think this is why you are all here at Stanford, to learn and to gather about what is the role of research and how can we understand what works. And then the second one, which you will hear, is one session on the future and many themes across the day. But the future is already here. It's very obvious to a lot of us here at Stanford that we are working on some amazing technologies that embeds AI with robotics now, with neurotech, with quantum. Anyway, lots of emerging themes that I hope you will take away from the day. And then one goal, as Patrick alluded to already, which is hopefully there will be sparks across the room, sparks through many learnings, many inspirations, and hopefully connections. So this is my pleasure to introduce Dean Dan Schwartz. And to introduce Dean Dan Schwartz, I have to make jokes. Dan is my boss, so you know so I asked for AI to generate a visual representation of Dan Schwartz in text format, and here's what came up. And there are a few attributes that I really liked here. A warm, approachable smile, a confident, steady gaze, and then last but not least, a smart, tailored academic look. With no further ado, Dean Dan Schwartz.
Well, that was cute. I might put in some different words. So it's a keynote for this conference. It's just getting bigger and bigger, so I thought I'd go big. I'm announcing the age of creation. And so in 100 years, when they look back, they'll make this moment and sort of say, Dan Schwartz inaugurated the age of creation. So I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to answer the number one questions I get. So it used to be, no matter where I talked, on what topic, people come up and say, how much cell phone use is too much, right? And the answer usually was, if you're asking, it's too much, right? But now the question is, like, what do people need to know, right? And how should they go about learning? So I'm going to answer it. It's going to be easy, you'll see, okay? But this is tough, so people try and predict the future. And so I'm going to show you a video from Star Trek. The video is probably like 50 years old, predicting 500 years from now in the state of education. So let's see if this works. So she's asking a very didactic question, and then the student's answering by pressing a button that lights a light bulb, and then gives an answer, and then she asks another didactic question. And then another student answers a light bulb, or presses light. So that's the vision of technology in the future, that students now can press a button, and it's even more didactic instruction, right? So right now, I think we're in the information age, and the characteristics of it, at least with respect to learning, are AI and automation. And so I actually want to start with this. This is a study that's about 60, 70 years before the age of information starts, but it foreshadows sort of the vision of what learning is going to be. And it was sort of the first study of human and machine interaction. And so what you're seeing here is on the horizontal axis, it's weeks of practice. And the vertical axis is how much information can they send. They're teletype operators. And so it's how many letters per minute, right? So they're measuring the efficiency of the transmission of information, right, which really foreshadowed the information age. And so one of the amazing things that came out of this was this curve. Some of you may have heard of it as the 80-20 rule. It's called the power law of learning. And basically, in the first 20% of time, you learn about 80%. And then the rest of the time is spent squeezing out the inefficiencies and getting faster and faster. So it goes asymptotic like that. So this is relevant because this is a large vision of what education has become with machines. It's to try and make you faster, more correct, right? Move the information around quicker. So what is in this model, what is AI for learning? How's it used? So early days, I think it would be for scrounging, right? You're using AI to help you scrounge around. And now it's to get personalized automated tutors, right? Or coaches or recommendation engines. And so this is really important, right? It's having individual attention in a high bandwidth, lots of feedback. It's superb for learning. And so a lot of people are working on this, right? How can I get the tutor to meet the student where they're at with the right content at the right time? So this is important. I want to point out that there are some people who predict that once there's artificial general intelligence, a lot of the work we're doing is going to become irrelevant. And I just want to point out, I know a lot of generally intelligent people who are terrible teachers, right? So the fact that it's generalized intelligence doesn't mean it's going to be a good teacher. So it's important to keep working on this. So here's the other dimension, and the thing I've noticed showing up is AI and augmentation. It's the age of creation. So people love this. I don't know if you've had this experience, but when ChatGPT first came out, I happened to go to 3 retirement parties. And in each retirement party, the host read a poem that they wrote with ChatGPT. And they were so pleased. I mean, they were so happy about this poem that they created. I think the retirees thinking you couldn't go to Walmart and get a Hallmark card. You just had the computer do it. But they were so pleased. They were so happy. And so this is a clue. This is how a lot of people like to use this, right? It's to surpass themselves and co-create. So this is one of my favorite examples. This is something that our beloved computer science professor, Chris Peach, did with his daughter, Freya, and image generation, where she made a story about a friendly witch in the forest. So this child could not have done this without these tools, right? But she's able to create this, and then this surpasses herself. And so that's one vision of these tools, right, is that they help you surpass yourself. And it really is motivating. So creating stuff in general is very motivating. So let me take a little detour here. So the question is why? Why does making things, like doing the story for the retirement party, so satisfying? Or Isabelle making a haiku about Dan that evidently had a different Dan Schwartz in mind, right? So here are some well-known motivations. Welcome back to school. There's extrinsic, so this is like rewards. For me, it's frequent flyer miles, right? I'll fly an extra like 200 miles to get like 6 points. And here the goal is to get you to repeat a behavior, right? So I reward you, it's good. When reason fails, reinforcement works. Another is intrinsic, things like being in the flow, interest. And here I think the image is you're maintaining a psychological state that you find pleasing. And this is why it's motivating. The last one is self-attribution. So growth mindset, self-efficacy. So the motivation here is that you think things that make you feel good about yourself, right? And that leads you to try. So are these the things that make people want to create, right? Are these the reasons? So what we did with Jay Fafman is we decided we'd find out why people like to create. So we asked hobbyists on listservs. We sent them a survey. And so these are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hobbyists, of motorcycle racers, beer brewers, gardeners, artists. And we asked them, rate the importance of something to their hobby. So how important is X for why you do your hobby? Losing a sense of time would be sort of an intrinsic motivator. Belonging to a group as a social motivator, feeling a sense of control, and so forth. We also asked high school students about their favorite classes. Okay. So here on the left are the different prompts they had to respond to. They're ranked in order. The black circle are the hobbyists. So the number one reason that people like to create is to see the fruits of their labor. This was true for every single hobby, right? They want to see what they've created. They get to see it, they inspect it, it's satisfying. You're a beer brewer, you get to taste that beer, you go, yeah, I got it good, but maybe I should add a little more hops next time. So what's nice about it is this motivation comes with natural motivations for learning, right? So extrinsic rewards like reward points don't really bring motivations for learning, they bring motivations to repeat your behavior. So the next top is to learn strategies and methods. So you want to learn how to do this. And you want to set higher standards, new challenges. So these are great motivators. At the bottom of the red square, it says to share what you've done. So, we worry about people becoming isolated with technology. But when you make things, you really want to show other people. Mommy, look at what I did, right? So there's a lot of good motivations. The gray triangles are students in their favorite classes. They're quite similar, except there's this little outlier here down in the lower right. These were all from students who are in AP classes and AP Calculus, and it was their favorite class, but they knew they needed this to get into college. So that's why they rated it very high. So you can use creation to support learning, right? And this is, I think, a big challenge. So this is from Renata Fruchter, who is a great colleague here at Stanford. And what she does in her architecture class is the students make the design for a building. The design then goes to a CAD system and makes a model of the building. And then the CAD system goes to Unity to make a physics interpretation of the building, right? And so these students, they're using all these smart tools. They're not AI at this point, but they're all quite smart. And then the students get to experience their own creation. She puts them in a wheelchair, and they get to move through their building and sort of see what's going on, right? And so she's letting you experience the fruits of your labor from another person's point of view. It's sort of like sharing and experiencing simultaneously. And so the expectation is you go through this, you create this, you're set up to get a formal understanding of, oh, that's why they make the hallways as big as they do, right? So this experience is really important. So this creating has nice properties for learning. So let me switch now. I've got this dimension, the age of creation, innovation and making is sort of the goal of it. And you go from scrounging to creation toolkits, right? The AI will make kits that people can use to make simulations, for example. So for students to make their own science simulation, see where it succeeds and fails, that'll be a great way to learn, right? And very up to date with the emphasis on modeling. You can put your idea there. How do you get both of these together? Right? Send them to me. I'll take them. So now I want to switch to what are the outcomes of using AI in these two ways. So here, I just want to note that on the automation and efficiency, the AI generally is telling the student what to do. It's trying to get the student to a correct answer as quickly as possible, right? On this other dimension, it's the student telling the AI what to do, right? And the AI is helping, and it's allowing them to surpass themselves. So if we start here as a novice, if you go down this trajectory, get a lot of AI to help you on the automation and efficiency, you'll develop appropriate behavior. You'll be correct, you'll be fast, you'll be doing the right thing for the circumstance, right? If you look at most of our standardized tests, that's what they are, right? Age of creation, over here, what you do is you get good at this. You'll be making novel production, right? You'll be creating basically farewell speeches for people retiring. The problem is you don't just want novel production because they can make silly things, right? You want them to be able to make things that understand the constraints of the situation. So they do need some efficient knowledge. They need to know things about the situation. They need to know the rules. At the same time, they need to be able to to take those rules and create new things. So I think what we want in this upper quadrant is the ability to do appropriate novelty, right? To come up with new ideas, to make new things, but that fit the constraints of the problem. And to do that, you need to balance these two dimensions, creation, but also learning exactly what the rules of the game are. So I have a prediction about the right way to do this, that you have people try and create something, and then you explain it more carefully, create something, explain it, and so forth. Different talk, right? But I tried that talk, and it just wore everybody out. So what do people need to know? I'm going to answer it. So take this to the bank. Let me just make one quick observation. I hear this, what do people need to know? And then there's some combination of apocalyptic but really happy vision of the future, which is people will be sitting on the beach sipping pina coladas because they don't need to know anything, and the computer's going to be doing everything for them. That's just not how it's going to work, right? What you need, I think people are going to need the same thing they've always needed. And the piece of evidence for this comes from an observation about art. So I don't really want to give the computer art and tell the art, would you appreciate that for me? Right? I need to do the art appreciation. And I think that's true for almost all knowledge and domains, is that it's up to us to appreciate what is good and useful. So rather than being very instrumental about how we think about knowledge, think about how it enables you to appreciate, see the world, make changes, innovate. I don't think that's changed. So I think, what do people need to know? It's going to be the same as always, plus this ability to create, which brings some new dispositions, an understanding of tools, an understanding of what counts as a useful creation. How should people learn? Well, you got my answer, right? You need to balance opportunities for them to create and to be told. Right now, we're in a paradigm where people get told, and then you copy the best you can to basically, the computer is automating the child to get to answers as fast as they can. If we put the creation in there, I think we elevate the child, we prepare them for the future. So I answered it. I said the age of creation, remember, book it, and then I gave you the answer for what do people know and how should they learn. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy this amazing conference, right, that's put together by our amazing executive director, Isabelle Howe, who has a Rolodex that's like 10,000 people. It's amazing. All right, thank you.